Yo guys, what's good? My name is Callum Dolby and welcome back to another video on the channel. So this is going to be the POSH review of the Swindon Town away game in the Vertu Trophy that happened last night. And it's not going to be a most positive video, let's just say that. It's going to be quite ranty, so before I get into any of that and before I get a bit sidetracked, make sure you drop a like on the video. Let's try and get to like 15 likes on this. Drop a comment down below what you thought of the game, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit that notification bell. It really does help the channel grow. I'm trying to push it out there as much as I can on my return. Okay, so let's get into the game. I'm going to do pretty much the same format that I did before. So if you guys are new here, I'll quickly explain it. I'm basically just going to go through some of my general thoughts of the game, and then I'm going to do a full like player rating list of like every player that started and came off the bench. So I'm going to just quickly get my list up because I've got it here because I forgot a couple of players that played because I was just so annoyed. So anyway, we are officially out of the Vertu Trophy for the first time in about 3 seasons. Obviously, we did the double. We won it back to back. And we hadn't even lost a game properly, obviously, apart from this season in the group stage. I don't think we'd lost a game in like 2 years, even in the group stage as well, which is quite crazy. But yeah, honestly, just a really disappointing game. I watched it from start to finish, and it was just flat. We didn't look like we were going to score at any point. When we went through on goal, we had Abraham Odoh. Just, I'm not going to get too deep into Abraham Odoh at the minute, but we had him just basically messing everything up. He's got no pace. And he has no playmaking ability whatsoever. And he got played through a few times, and they were some decent chances, but he just couldn't get away from his man. But yeah, we are officially out now, and it's quite annoying. I think this was a really good chance to sort of hit the reset button after a couple of losses because we haven't looked great recently. Obviously, we've got the 4 wins on the bounce, but then the last couple of games we've looked really abject in front of goal, and it's quite concerning. We're kind of reverting back to the Fergie sort of style of play. Not style of play, but the Fergie, like, I don't know what to describe it as, like bad habits. Like, just we don't look like we're pressing enough. We don't look like we're trying as hard, which is strange because the manager's only been here 2-3 weeks, I think, maybe a month with the international break. I can't remember now, but when he joined, you could tell instantly like that, like we were on it. You know, all the players wanted to play for the manager. They had basically down tools. I personally think they down tools enough to get rid of the greatest manager the club's ever had, and I think that it was the right time for him to go. But they down tools the fact that he got sacked, and we got Luke Williams in, which was a brilliant appointment in my opinion. And I thought we'd turned a corner. I got a bit ahead of myself. I was kind of looking like, oh, how many points are we away from the playoffs sort of thing. I was kind of like, oh, you know, this is it. Like, we've got a good manager now. The players are a lot better than they seemed this like at the start of this season because we've got a manager that plays a good system, plays a proper system, and the players are really listening to him, respecting him in the dressing room because I think the players just stopped listening to Fergie. And these last 3 games have just, like I said, we've just gone backwards, and it's really frustrating because I'd really thought we'd turned a corner. Now, is getting knocked out of the Vertu Trophy really a big deal? No, but I think it's the fact that Swindon rotated quite heavily. Their top scorer was on the bench. I know he came on in the second half, but their top scorer was on the bench. And by all accounts, they did rotate quite heavily from their league game because they're top of League Two. So obviously they are prioritising that. And we made probably 2 changes from like a team that, I mean, this is the team that we started. I'll put it up on screen now. This team we could easily play in League One if a couple of injuries happen to like Tom Lees and stuff like that. We could easily play this team in League One. Johnston as well, you know, easily could play a League One game. He's the vice captain of the club, for God's sake. Like it's a team that should easily be at least challenging or scoring a goal. Like, you've got to be able to score against the League Two team. And you know, I was speaking to my dad yesterday about it, and he said, "Oh, these are League Two," and I'm like, "Yeah, we are nearly as well. We're in the relegation zone in League One. Now, I don't think we're going to go down, but it's a slippery slope. Like we've had this. I think it's a new manager bounce. Like the club has said, like, oh, it's a good manager bounce, or they've tried to word it differently. But let's be real. The 4 wins in a row, I think it was 4, was a new manager bounce. You could tell that the players were running that extra 10% harder. They were, pressing. And we've kind of just come crashing down now. And I think it's really opened my eyes into how poor this squad actually is. And it's not good enough for what we want to be. Dara has always said, this is not me going after Dara, but Dara has always said, season upon season, if we're in League One, we should be challenging for the playoffs, right? And he said, these are his words, not mine. This is a top 6 squad. And we're going to go through the squad. We're going to go through, not the squad, we're going to go through the starting 11. We're going to go through the subs. And let me tell you, this is not a playoff squad. Nowhere near a playoff squad. Okay? So I think that, yeah. Before I go too far into that sort of stuff, I think that's my general thoughts on the game. It was just disappointing, very flat. I'll give Swindon the credit they deserve because they came with a game plan I think they came with a game plan to just nick 1 goal and sit back on it. And they did that, and they did it well. They didn't really give us anything. And the times that we did have a good run on goal or a good chance to do something, it was our own fault that we didn't get a goal, pretty much. So let's get into the player ratings. So I'm going to start in goal. I'm going to go through the whole team, basically, from goalkeeper to striker. I'm going to start in goal with Alex Bass. I was really disappointed with his performance today. I think he had maybe 3 shots to face, and one of them went in, and the other 2 were straight at him, and he just caught them. So the thing with Bass that I find is that he's very good with his hands. Like he's a very good shot stopper. Okay, the same as I'm not gonna say he's on the same level as Bilo because he's so much better. But Bilo was good at shot stopping, right? We can all agree that that was one of his only strengths was he could get in the way of a shot, right? But Bass is concerning because his kick in is absolutely abysmal, and it was terrible yesterday. I mean, there were so many times where he would get the ball and just kick it straight out of play. Now, Luke Williams plays a system where your keeper needs to be a ball player, at least to an okay level, but Bass is shocking at ball playing. He can't do it. And if we're going to play like this, we have to play to his strengths. We can play out from the back, that's fine, but we can't do it with the goalkeeper because he can't do it. That's just not his strength at all. And I think if we're going to continue with this system, I could really see us getting a different goalkeeper if this carries on and he doesn't improve his kicking, because I'm 100% certain that he's working on it in training, and if the coaches can coach him to do it properly, then we'll have. If that fixes his game, I mean, he's a championship level goalkeeper every day of the week. I mean, he's fantastic in terms of goalkeeping. Like, he keeps the goal well. That sounds stupid, but he does. It's just everything else in terms of his kicking and his throwing's okay, but his kicking really leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. Especially in the first half, I noticed a lot more. Just the amount of times that he'd try and like dink it or get it over to the wing, and it must have gone out like 6 or 7 times in a row. And I'm just sat there thinking, if you're going to do that, just hit it down the middle, because if you're trying to play a long ball, you might as well just go to the striker, because Leonard's quite good in the air, no? Like, I don't know. Anyway, Bass. Player rating for Bass. I'm going to give him I'll give him a 4. I think he made 2 saves. I think it was 2 or 3, but they were straight at him, and pretty much every other part of his game was really poor. So yeah, let's move on. In right back, we had Carl Johnston. Now, I don't really like Carl Johnston as a player. I think as a fullback, he's not really what I like. I think he's okay he's decent as a backup, but I don't think he's ever going to be a starter. He's pretty poor going forward, and when we've got Kyoso, I know Kyoso had a really, really bad game on the weekend, but he's decent going forward, right? I think these two are like the sort of embodiment of what it means to be a League One defender. Like one of them's really is decent, very good one on one, and can do them sort of last ditch sliding tackles and stuff like that in Johnston, and the other one is pretty bad defensively and okay going forward. So like if you put them two together, then we'd have a good right back. But like it's like that is quite a problem position for us at the minute. Dornelli, I have no idea where he is. Apparently he's the best crosser at the club, and he's nowhere to be seen. I don't know why he's not being given a chance. I thought this would be a perfect game for him to play. I don't know if he's got like personal issues or fitness issues, or he's injured, which the club are not telling us about. But he's nowhere near it at the minute, is he? I mean, I haven't seen him for a while. So moving across the defence, we've had Okagbue. I actually thought he had quite a good game. Just quickly going back to Johnston, I didn't actually give him a rating. I'd give him a 6.5. I thought he was fine yesterday, just not good going forward. Okagbue, I thought had a good game. He got spun. There was one specific phase of play that I remember where the Swindon Town player was going through on goal, and he kind of like got twisted and sort of was like back to the ball, then front to the ball, then he kind of like a little pirouette, but he came out with it. I don't think anything really got past him today. I think he won most of his headers and all of his tackles, all of his like ground duels. He basically won, so I was quite happy with him today. Not really too much more to say on Okagbue. I'd give him a 7.5. I thought he was actually really good yesterday. O'Connor, I didn't really notice too much from O'Connor, to be honest. I thought he was quite solid, if like a little absent in the game, but I mean he's a centre back. Like what else can you expect him to do? I thought he was fine. Nothing really to note on him. I'd give him a 6.5. I thought Okagbue played a little bit better than him, but O'Connor is a lot better bringing the ball forward for sure. But this is the defence. I will say this before I move on to Harley Mills. The defence is quite hard to rate because Swindon didn't really offer too much going forward, and we had a lot of the ball in their attacking third, or our attacking third, I should say. So it's quite hard to judge these players like specifically and remember like, oh, this happened and this happened, because it's like we had the ball so much in with our attacking players, our defensive players didn't really have a lot of work to do. Harley Mills, I don't think had his best game. I'm looking on FOTMob now, and they gave him a 7.7, and I don't really agree with that. I don't really know where that's come from. He had quite a lot of opportunities where he got forward, and he kind of... I think what I said last night when I was watching it is he just kind of hits it and hopes something happens. Like there was one where he got into a really good position around the back of the defence, and instead of looking up and seeing like where like our players were in the box, he kind of just fizzed it across the box and it got intercepted. Like at that point he had quite a lot of time, and at that point you've got to just look up, and I think Garbett was in loads of space. This was a common theme during the match. Garbett kept getting himself into really, really good positions in the box, but he just wasn't found. And he basically just hit and hope, which is frustrating, because if he just looked up for 2 seconds, he would have seen his teammate with practically an open goal. And yeah, he was okay defensively. Again, like there's not really much I can say because we didn't really have a lot of defending to do. I'm going to give him a 6. I don't think it was his best game, to be honest. Collins, I thought was all right. Not really too much to note on Archie Collins. I thought he was okay. He misplaced a couple of passes, but I think pretty much most passes that he tried got to where it needed to be. So that's all you can really ask for from your number 6, I guess. Not really too much. Archie Collins is one of them players where you don't really see him during the game, apart from when he, twatted that one in at Burton away, I think it was. You don't really see him do too much. Like, he does a couple of cross-field balls that look quite nice, and he just does that dirty work. So I think he was fine yesterday. Nothing too impressive, but he didn't have a stinker by any stretch of the imagination. So I'll give him a 7. Ben Woods... I like Ben Woods, but he needs to stop shooting. Like every time he gets the ball, within like 25 yards of the goal, he just thinks, you know what, I'm John Arnorisa, and tries to absolutely pelt it into the top bin. And it's so frustrating to watch. Like, I know he did it, I think it was the home game against who was it against? Stevenage, I think. I was listening to it on the radio because I was at work, and it was like the last minute of the game, and he had it like 30 yards out and just shot, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, he's good in terms of like he's good defensively, I think, and he's okay as a ball player. But I think he is the natural replacement for Archie Collins. I think he's going to fill in that 6 role really nicely when Collins goes. I don't think Collins is going to go in January, but in the summer, I think Ben Woods will take over that mantle and just be that holding player. And hopefully that means that he won't get in the position to just shoot all the time, because that's the thing that frustrates me about him. But I thought he was fine. I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Moving on, we're going to go with a front 4 now. I'm going to leave Odoh to last because you, my son, are not getting away lightly, and I want to dedicate a little bit of time to talk about you, okay? Declan Frith, I thought, was quite poor yesterday. He showed a couple of flashes. I think he nutmegged someone and made a nice little backheel pass, but he hogged the ball so much, and there were so many phases of play where he had it, and instead of passing inside, he'd try and take on 2 or 3 players, and it just wasn't really working. He was getting tackled a lot, and a lot of his passes were intercepted. He was definitely better than Odoh, that's for sure. Like, you can tell he's got it. Like, he he can be a great player for us. His touch control in tight areas is really nice, but he just needs to learn when to release the ball and when to not dribble 4 players in a row, which is basically never a good idea unless you're like, no, there's no one else around you. And he did have quite a lot of support in this game, but he just basically ignored them. I don't think he's fit either. He got subbed off in the 65th minute. He's not fit, and it really showed this game, in my opinion. Matty Garbett, I'll give Frith a 6, I guess, 5.5 Frith. Matty Garbett, I thought he's a frustrating one, right? He was pretty poor, I would say, yesterday. I think he had some pretty neat touches. I think there was one pass where he did it like outside the boot to the wing, and he had I think he megged someone, and just them sort of neat little intricate plays that he can do. He did them well, but the last few games, I just don't think he's turned up. I think that since Williams has took over, Jimmy J Morgan has looked better in the 10 than Matty Garbett. And I think that we all assumed that his best position would be the 10, right? Because he's quite not nimble, but he's good on the ball. He's quite elegant in his play, and he links up the play well. But since he's played in the 10, he hasn't really shone, and I think his best position is out on the right, like sort of a wide midfielder, not a winger per se, but like out, not in the 10, basically, anywhere but the 10, sort of on the right-hand side of the midfield. If, say, for example, you play a 4-3-3, he would be on the right, okay? That's where I'd see his best position. I think that's where he played his best games under Darren Ferguson, and I think that he has not looked good in this system. He's definitely one of our better players in terms of pure ability. I think he's definitely up there, probably in the top 3 easily. I mean, he's an international footballer as well. But I think he would be disappointed with his performance yesterday, and I just hope that he's not like a fair weather player. When it gets really rough and ready, that he can stand up to it, because I haven't really seen too much to suggest otherwise. And I think he's a player that really thrives when there's sort of like a big open playing field where he can really get it out of his feet and show that quality. But we're in a relegation battle. He needs to be dogged. He needs to be ready to fight, and I'm not sure he is yet. But my mind can easily be changed. I haven't really seen much evidence to suggest the other, but I've got a feeling that he's one of them players that when it gets really down and really dirty, he's not going to be there to drag us out, which is annoying. Leonard, God, Garbett 6.5. Leonard, what can I say? He had nothing. What could I can't. How can I even rate Leonard? He tried. He pressed. He had a shot where he was back to goal and he spun and sort of hit it wide. But he had nothing to feed off. The wingers were giving him nothing. The midfielders were giving him nothing. He was completely starved of service. And it was basically the same as when Jimmy J. Morgan played up front on his own. Completely starved of service. And I'm not going to mark him down for that because he is a great player. One of my favourite players at the club. And I'm not going to mark him down for his team not helping him here. So I'm going to give him I don't even know what to give him because 6 is like. I mean, I gave other players who did worse than him a 6. So I guess 7 for Leonard. Like I can't really mark him that highly. I'll just say 6 is the average, right? Okay. Abraham Odoh, we need to have words, mate. You are stoppable on your day, right? You are the movable object. You are one of the wingers of all time. You are absolutely fucking shit, right? You are terrible. Why are we continuing to play this fraud? He was absolutely abysmal yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was watching. All I could do every time he had the ball was just laugh at him, and it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing that the fall from grace we've had from wingers of Kwame Poku, Mendes Lang, Marcus Maddison, Efren Mason-Clark. God, I don't even like. There's even like Tommy Rowe back in the day, Chris Weltdale. These players, he is not even fit to lace their boots, and that is not an overstatement. I can't. He had one good game last season where he scored a hat-trick, right? I have seen him have so many stinkers in a Peterborough United shirt, and it's just not funny anymore. I laugh because if I don't laugh, I'll get too angry and start. I don't even know. He is so frustrating to watch. It's so jarring. It's so jarring watching him play football. Let me just read something to you real quick, okay? I'm just going to read this out. This is a statement from when we signed him, okay? Let me just quickly find it. Right, guys. Can you just look at this statement right here? Let's read it together, okay? This is Abraham Odoh we're talking about, right? Losing a winger like EMC isn't easy and replacing him even tougher, but as is life with our club, time doesn't stand still and bringing in new talent is a given every season. So we are delighted to land our number 1 target from January. Number 1 target, right? This is the king of recruitment. Who we feel will get bums on seats. I think that's just a typo. We'll move on. With his pace, skills, right? Assists, goals, right? And work ethic in both sides of the pitch. Welcome to the POSH. Abraham Odoh, a 23-year-old wide man from Harrogate Town who joins on a 6-figure transfer fee when the window opens in June. That was from our chairman, Darren McAntony. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Pace, he is so slow, right? You think a small winger, he's going to be quick, he's going to have agility, he's going to take his man on. He is so slow. He doesn't have any skills. I don't think I've ever seen him beat a man with skills. Assists, no chance. Goals, apart from the hat-trick against Crawley, I can't really remember him scoring that many. Work ethic, even. He barely runs. He doesn't look bothered. I'm sorry, but he doesn't. There's a couple of times where he tracks back and helps his winger, but not as much as Cairo Lisby does, not as much as Declan Frith does. He is one of the worst players I've ever seen play for my football club. And he is probably the only player in this entire squad that I hate watching. And that's a strong word, but Every time I see the team sheet with his name in it, I'm just like, why? What is he doing in training? And what have you seen? More importantly, if he's good in training, fine. He might get stage fright, whatever. But you watch the games, Williams. You watch them. You would have watched all of our games this season, probably, for Fergie. What have you seen in a game this season where he's done anything to merit a start? Like, he came out of the team over the weekend that wasn't for footballing reasons, and then he's come straight back into the starting 11. Like, what on earth are we doing with Abraham Odoh? He is absolutely fucking terrible. Just drop him. Terminate his contract. Do something. He is shocking. He's never ever going to make it at this level. Send him back to League 2, if not the National League. I'm sure Peterborough Sports would be alright with him, because that's the only game he fucking showed up this season, is in the pre-season friendly against them. Jesus Christ. Like, can we just take a minute and just really deep this? Like, he's shocking, right? You, my friend, are getting a 0. Terrible. I can excuse players being bad, right? If you're trying your absolute hardest and you don't have the ability, like Gustav Lindgren, I don't believe it has the ability. He tries, right? He runs and runs and runs and runs. He keeps getting in the positions, but he's just not good enough. I can excuse that. We're in League One, right? But when a player is arrogant, like I think Abraham Odoh is, and he's still that bad, that's where I draw the line. No chance. I don't want to see him ever play for my club ever again. And I think that a lot of the fans are with me, right? I've seen the meltdown on Twitter yesterday, and so, you know, people have travelled so long and so far, probably after work on a Tuesday night, and got up for work early on a Wednesday, and paid money to watch Abraham Odoh play football. It's actually embarrassing. I'm not gonna go after him personally, because this is purely football, right? But he's terrible. I feel better for getting that off my chest. So, yeah, Odoh 0. Lisby, this is what you want a winger to do, right? Comes on, within 10 seconds, he gets the ball, skins his man, goes on the outside of him, gets chalk on his boots and gets across him. When did Abraham Odoh do that the whole game? Not once. Nada. Nish. O'Brien Brady, didn't see him do anything. Lisby, I'll give a 6 to. He did what he could. O'Brien Brady, didn't really see him do anything. I think he had maybe one neat turn and a pass, but that's about it. 6. Lindgren, I don't think he touched the ball really. Oh no, he did. He went for on goal, didn't he? And shot instead of passing to Odoh, had an open goal. But fair play, Odoh probably would have missed that open goal. So yeah. And there was another one where Harley Mills crossed it, and Odoh had an open goal, but he was too slow to get there. Anyway, enough Odoh bashing. So yeah, all the subs I'm just going to give a 6 to. I don't think they really had a chance to impact the game, and I think they're all just as good or bad as each other, depending on how you want to see it. But yeah, that was quite a rant. So I appreciate you guys if you made it this far. We're probably looking at about a 25-minute video. I've been recording for half an hour, but there's like 1 or 2 cuts that I need to make. So I appreciate you guys sticking around if you have. And I will be doing a POSH preview of the game on Saturday, which is the FA Cup against Barnsley. I'm going to be going to that one as well. Will there be a vlog? Quite possibly. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in terms of vlogging and stuff yet. I'm still kind of in a real 50-50. I do want to do them for the content, but I'm just not sure if I want to. I guess like personally, I'm not sure. I think I'll probably decide on the day. And it's probably more likely that I will do one because it's been so long and I want to give you guys that content. So like I said, thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate you watching, even if you just had it on in the background. Please pick your phone up, like it, give it a comment, tell me what you thought of the video, tell me what you thought of the players, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.